Hey, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another subscriber suggestion, which was to listen to the newer EP. I don't know if we would call them albums because they're pretty short, but another project from Joshua Bassett. Recently on my channel I did his 3-song EP, which was, it was like Crisis, Set Me Free, and I don't remember the other one, but we listened to that project on this channel, so one of the recommendations I got was to listen to an EP called Sad Songs in a Hotel Room. So they have 6 songs, and it looks like a lot of them have either audios or music videos, so let's just get straight into it. So track 1 is titled Sad Songs in a Hotel Room.
We're in the room, the same ones we left on the hotel floor just 1 year ago. Do not disturb hanging on the door. How the hell we end up where we did? Don't you think it's messed up? It all went to shit. It's kinda depressing being here alone. I miss you, so I pick up the phone.
Off the bat, I want to say that I think this type of music really suits him. I'm not going to pretend like I've heard a lot of his music, but I really think that he does well in an acoustic setting. I haven't heard really any live performances. I just mean like his style that he writes music in definitely fits the type that he makes. I do want to look up the lyrics to these songs as we're going through them. So far we got I'm Wearing a Robe, the same ones that we left on the hotel floor just 1 year ago. The Do Not Disturb sign hanging on the door. How the hell did we end up where we're at? Don't think it's messed up, it all went to shit. So it's definitely kind of reminiscing on a relationship that he had previously about a year ago, and just see how different you are with the same person. When you think about that same person, it's like, wow, I can't believe that 1 year ago this is what we were doing, as compared to probably not talking at all. So if this is kind of setting up for this entire album, I can definitely see it being more of a sad album for sure. I like the music video because it's definitely flashing back to what he used to do in the hotel room with this other person, and now he's like, I'm all alone, and this is where we're at 1 year later. I can't help but think of a hotel room in the sense of like a traveling artist, because I feel like I don't know if this is his case scenario, but a lot of artists do live out of hotel rooms, so for what he might call home, it's very different going home to seeing like your life very different than where it was previously. You know, they say the house is not a home, and our home is the person that you're with. So when he's not with this person, it's definitely exactly what a normal hotel room is, and that can be depressing, especially if you don't feel like you have a home station. But I'm liking it so far. As if I didn't need a reason to constantly bring up Taylor Swift for no reason. It looks like the hotel room looks like the vibes of the Midnight's album, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Another lyric that I just liked was, it was something about the calendar, or what did he say? Oh, I flipped through these old magazines, dream destinations we promised we'd see. Again, I think I'm just kind of Taylor Swift brainwashed a little bit, but it reminds me of a song that she has called Babe, and she says taking down the pictures and the plans we made, but that was because the other person wasn't a good person. It doesn't seem like that's what's going here. It doesn't seem like he's trying to villainize anyone in this situation, but I can kind of think of like, you know, just the hopes and dreams that you had for a relationship, and then whatever reason that it ended, it's just kind of sad to look back and look like, damn, you know, like I never thought this was going to end because we were planning things so far in advance. I do hope a bridge gives us a little bit more though. They're kind of an adorable couple though in this video. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what he just said. We checked in together, I never checked out. Guess it's the Heartbreak Hotel, because look at us now. Okay, that makes sense. I think he's definitely calling to, like, you know, we never checked out. I would think that I never checked out as, like, again, he might live essentially in a hotel, but also I think of, like, you know, when people check out of a relationship, it's like that's when they have like one foot out the door, and him saying he never checked out, that kind of makes me think that, you know, in his head he's still in this relationship, like a right where you left me, I'm still at the restaurant, you know, still 23 inside the fantasy, but it's kind of like he hasn't really moved on or processed the breakup just yet. But that's kind of what I've gotten out of it so far. This is just context from the video, but given that he's throwing it angrily, I would assume that it was not an amicable breakup. But I had to guess. Alright, so that was Sad Songs in a Hotel Room. I liked the song. I wish it did a little bit more, but I think it was a good introduction to whatever this EP is going to be. One thing I really will commend is the video. I've watched a couple of his music videos with the Crisis EP. Oh, and Secret. Secret was a good video, but I was a little critical on some of the music videos from that project, and I can notice like a vast improvement in his videography. And I really enjoyed this video. I really like the flashback scenarios, but it didn't make it look like super flashbacky, if that makes sense. I know it probably doesn't, but I really enjoyed that video. So next up is a song titled LA. So let's just get straight into that one.
I'm not sure if I make it tonight. Guess I've run out of things I can say. I just gotta get out of LA.
Alright, it seems like this one is obviously talking about Los Angeles. I feel like this is a common thing that celebrities go through. You know, LA is always the big nice city until you kind of see the underneaths. I don't know that city enough to like say that I know that, but it definitely seems like at a certain point people do start thinking that LA is one of the more toxic places to be, just because you're constantly reminded of certain things. I feel like a common thing that I've heard is just like you're always comparing yourself to someone who might be more successful or different stages, because literally you go to LA to make all your dreams come true, and of the people that go there, how many actually come true? So I definitely think there's a lot of comparisons that go on when you are there. But I don't know what this one's about, but that's kind of what I start thinking when I think of like, I gotta get out of this place. That reminds me of, this is probably a really weird reference, but like, you know when you go to summer camp and you're ready to go home? My father told me not to cry in front of my mom, it's time to grow up. I am making assumptions, but I can assume this could be about like, you know, if you had the dream of always going to LA and doing exactly what you're pursuing, and you know, sometimes you just need support or you have emotions that you need to get out, but I would assume this is kind of about like, you know, realizing that you're not ready for all of this, but how hard did you fight for those things? So maybe it's time to grow up. It's like, you know, you wanted this. This is what you chose, so like kind of make the bed that you're sleeping in. But I don't know, and like maybe he's just kind of feeling the idea of like what people would say like man up, which I know it's a very weird term to say now, but like that's kind of what I'm getting out of this, is just like now that I'm older, I'm not allowed to cry. I don't want to do that in front of my mom. I need to make sure that they're not worrying about me anymore. Just what I would assume is like, you chose this, so figure it out on yourself.
I just gotta get out of LA. Everyone comes here, but nobody leaves. Yeah.
That's interesting. Everyone comes here, but no one leaves. I feel like it's kind of saying like, you know, like this place drains you. It's like once you're here, it gets its hooks into you and you never leave.
Oh, who do you know? And when did you know them? Know where you're from, but where are you going? How can you help me get to where I is going right, they're on your side. Just as your luck runs out, the harder to find.
That is so true. That's very like, that's very like fair weather friends. They're only good when your stock's up. People like Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift, I feel like I've listened to music from them recently that kind of accounts for that. It's like you never know who you can trust there. And like he said, everyone's actors, so you never know who's being real with their feelings or if they're actually as happy as they say they are. And something about this industry, it's all about who you know and what you're willing to do for it. And I guess I find that you notice like people that maybe aren't from Los Angeles or anywhere, when they realize that that isn't a way that they grew up with, like stepping on other people to get what you need, that it's hard for you to like adjust to that lifestyle of like a dog-eat-dog world. So maybe that's kind of what he's referring to. It's like, I'm not built for whatever is supposed to go on here. That's not me. I feel like that's how I would be there, to be honest. Alright, so that was LA. I'm definitely getting the vibes. I mean, I knew based on the title Sad Songs in a Hotel Room that it was going to probably be a more mellow record. But to me so far, this is an album that I feel like I could play in the background. And that is not meant to be anything negative towards it. It's very mellow and it's very relaxing to me. It's definitely something that I can see myself like if I'm cleaning up or like listening to it because it sounds nice and I don't have to put a lot of focus into what I'm listening to. So I definitely enjoyed this one as well. I feel like they almost sound very similar to each other, but I guess it was also a part of cohesiveness. So next track is a song called Used to It. So let's just get straight into that one.
And I almost died, you didn't care at all. Mama said you can't be mad at who you wish somebody was. Well, I'm not surprised you didn't call.
So one thing I do know about the, I guess you could say Joshua Bassett lore, I don't know. I do know that someone mentioned in my comment section, I can't remember if it was for his album or if it was Sabrina Carpenter's, but someone told me that he had heart failure, and Sabrina, it might have been on the Sabrina video because there's a song from Sabrina that said that she was only trying to take care of someone that was dying, and it was him because he had heart failure over something. I don't remember the exact details and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd assume that this is about someone in his life that he kind of expected, like, on maybe a dramatic word is deathbed, but on a very serious situation, I maybe thought that this person would come through for, just being there for him, but clearly that didn't happen.
I guess I got used to it.
Ooh, okay, I like this one. Okay, let's read that real quick. Yeah, I got used to it. You'd kiss me till I forget. You're covering up all your sins. I blame it on us being kids. I guess you had me convinced that in my mind it's playing tricks. After all that you did, I admit that I miss, but I guess I got used to it. So this feels like a relationship that someone maybe was a little bit more manipulative towards him, because you saying you're covering up all your sins and you'd kiss me till I forget, it's like anytime that we had a real problem, you try to fix it with like love language or something like that instead of addressing the problems. And he even gave this person an out by saying, I'm blaming it on being kids. Like, none of us know how to love correctly. We're all learning in relationships. So to put all of the blame on someone else maybe isn't accurate. But he's also saying that he got used to, being played, I guess you could say. It's like he could never count on this person when it really counted. And he maybe thought that was okay until he got into a different relationship or got out of that situation where it was like, no, what you did really wasn't very good. And I guess that's what he's saying. He got used to it until he got taken out of that situation.
Stab me in the back and I'm the one who's saying sorry again. You told our friends you're glad it hurts.
See, that's interesting considering you told our friends you hope it hurts. You left me for him with one eye over your shoulder. So I would go back to the word of manipulation. It's like, they maybe broke up or they went on a break or something and she knows how to get a rile out of him and will do certain things with one eye over her shoulder just to make sure that he's feeling the pain or whatever emotion that she knows that he would do because he's used to it and he was kind of being controlled in that way. She knows exactly how to make him jealous, and then she also knows how to know that he's going to be the one apologizing because it sounds like he was more in love with this person than maybe that person was with him. But this one's really interesting. I actually really like a lot of things about this song. And he still hasn't learned that lesson. He's like, he still misses her. Or him, I don't know. I've never heard someone pronounce Tommy as Tommy, or however he said it. I'm sure maybe some people do, but I've never heard it that way. I really like that just because I feel like it also shows some maturity in the situation because yes, the other person is probably more wrong for being the manipulator, but at the same time, it's like you were aware of it in some sort of way because maybe you didn't want to lose this relationship. You were clinging on to whatever you had with this relationship and you were like, I'm going to make whatever work. And that's why you're not mad because you said, I let you treat me like that. I guess I got used to it. So the other person's the worst person, I guess, but you were also complacent in something that you knew that you could have changed. So he's acknowledging that he can't forgive this person and mercy won't always be there for this person, but at the same time he knows that his hands aren't completely clean in the situation. And he's acknowledging that he made excuses for this person. Alright, so that was Used to It. I definitely think this was my favorite of the three so far. It just was a little bit more upbeat and it did a little bit more, and I really liked the bridge and the subject matter. This one was definitely my favorite for sure. Next track is something called Smoke Slow. So let's see what that one's about. I believe it has a music video, so maybe this was a bigger song. Joshua Bassett does not endorse smoking. Okay, glad to know. I guess it's gonna feature some smoking in here. But then why did you make a song about it? Not my place, I don't know.
Is it naive to think we could work? The second it's out, then I lose her. We're already here, so one more won't hurt. It won't hurt.
Okay, let me read what that was. I'm not sure if I've followed what that was so far. She asked for a light and our secrets spill on the windowsill. We're buying more time. We're killing ourselves as we both inhale. Making believe there's a future. Is it naive to think that we could work? Then the second's out, then I lose her. We're already here, so one more won't hurt. Okay, so maybe I'm taking it literally, but you know, this person is a smoker and he's just, you know, doing it just so he has more time to talk to this person. And that's why our secrets spill on the windowsill. It's like as long as the cigarette is lit, it's as long as they get to talk with each other. And he's killing ourselves as we both inhale because he's buying more time. He's willing to do whatever just to keep talking to this person. And then I guess in those short times that they're having that cigarette break or whatever you want to call it, he's thinking of all the future that he could have with this person. And he's like, one more couldn't hurt. Kind of makes me think of the last track, just that he's being manipulated. And I don't think he's being manipulated in a sense in this song, but just like thinking of bending or doing things that he's maybe not used to just because he's really infatuated with this person. And I feel like that's kind of what led to a bad situation in the other track, but let's see where this one goes. Oh, I like it. Ah, smoke slow so we can get all the time that we can together. I really like the way that chorus sounded, and it said, but all that we have is, but it says, but all that we are is all that we'll ever be, because he's the one waiting at home. She holds my guitar as I pluck out a melody. There's only so far we can go. Next to you, I'll never be close, so take your time while you're mine and smoke slow. So I assume this is like about a party and not always about cigarette smoking, but he knows that he has very limited time with this person because she must have someone else or someone in the wings. I don't know what exactly this person has, but they're not fully available to him, so he will just use any opportunity to make, you know, little times count with this person, whether that's a smoke break or plucking out a song, I guess, but whatever he can, he just knows that he's going to find a way to stay with this person, and I think that's fun. And I think that's a really interesting way of putting that, because I say this about Taylor Swift's music sometimes. It's like you're taking a simple concept and kind of elevating it to be more detailed oriented, because you could say like, I just want to take your time. I want to be the person that you talk to. And he's kind of taking a specific situation and kind of, you know, you're saying the same thing, but you're saying it in a way that I haven't heard it before. So that's usually what makes me more excited when I listen to songs like this.
Breaking away for the hell of it, but I don't regret this, making believe that we're clueless.
That kind of made me think of smoking not just cigarettes. And I don't mean to make assumptions, but, you know, break away for the hell of it, started innocent, I'm telling you things I've never said, I hope I don't regret this. That makes me more think of something being more of an under the influence, because you can't control yourself as much when you're kind of in a state where, you know, you're not making the most rash decisions, I guess you could say. But again, he's still conforming to anything that he can with this person, taking those opportunities.
One little spark that we won't put out, is all that we'll ever be, 'cause he's the one waiting at home.
Ooh, I thought that was gonna be headlights of the other person. That would be interesting.
Holds my guitar as I pluck out a melody. Close.
Oh, is that the other guy?
Your mind and smoke slow.
I might have just not caught on to that the whole time. I didn't know that might have been the other dude. I do like the lyric, one little spark that we won't put out, because you're talking about smoking in general, and that's like when they get their time to talk. And it's also like, you know, you're not putting much feelings into something like that, but you know, like once you start, you know, a little spark becomes a huge fire. And he's saying like, I think it's a hopeful way of saying like, I hope this turns into something more later.
Addicted to illusions of a love that never was and never will be anyway.
What is going on? This breakdown, I love it. And I will say, in my first video with Joshua Bassett, he's much better at lip singing these days. Ooh, I also really like that breakdown, but I want to know what that chorus bridge said. I have a hard time sometimes understanding his bridges when he gets a little higher. Addicted to illusions of love that never was and never will be. The nicotine don't taste the same if I'm not savoring every breath we take. Play with fire, take me higher. Interesting. It's like, you know, he wouldn't do that with anyone else. It's all about this one person. The nicotine don't taste the same, so I guess if he's ever around another person that he could maybe mimic a certain situation with, it just doesn't feel the same because it's never going to be that person. And it's just him being, again, hopeful or kind of hopeless in love, I guess you could say, because he's just always hoping for that moment that will reignite.
That we'll ever be, 'cause he's the one waiting at home. Take your time while your mind and smoke slow.
Oh, and there she goes with the other person. For a video standpoint, it's interesting because, like, that dude was at the party the entire time. Was he not, like, I don't say watching his person, but, like, she's, like, going around with other people, but... Another great song. I definitely think the last two are definitely better than the first two. I've liked every song from this EP so far, but this one and the song right before it, which was Used to It, are definitely my favorite. I might like this one a little bit more just because of the bridge was really cool. But next up is track 5, which is titled Lifetime. Or, which is titled Lifeline.
Playing right within the hour. I see pictures life without a sun.
Ooh, maybe this is about that situation I was talking about, like the heart thing.
Don't matter what we're saying, I'm just glad you made it into town.
I guess this is about like a parent, maybe? Like his mom, maybe?
Save me, now I'm facing all my fears of the unknown. I've been shaking in my bones. I can't do this on my own, so try.
Ooh, that was hard hitting. Save me now. I'm facing all my fears of the unknown. I've been shaking in my bones lately. I've been praying to a God I've never known, and I can't do this. I would assume that this is kind of about, like, you know, in those moments when you try to be independent in your life and you want to live on your own and do all these things, but there are certain things that you'll always need your parents for. And I definitely think health related things are always going to be something like that. And I don't mean like making your own doctor's appointments. It's like when you're really facing some sort of adversity and, like, especially a health scare, all you want is like your parent to be there just to kind of, like, I don't even care how old you are. It's like almost like wrap you up in a hug and just tell you like it's gonna be okay and just be there for you. So I'd assume that's like what we're talking about here, but let's just keep listening.
With you by my side, oh my, don't you know you're my lifeline?
Oh, that's so sad. It's definitely what I thought it was about. Like, you know, I won't say goodbye just yet. Hold on to my hand. It's like I'll hold on and I'll fight even harder knowing that there's someone there on the other side of that. What I would consider a lifeline is like in those moments, and maybe this is just a me situation, but in those moments, you are equally a lifeline to each other, especially with your parent. It's like he, I guess in the situation, you know, needed his parent and needed his mom there to, like, you really help him know that he should keep fighting for whatever he needs to in his health situation. But I feel like it's also like your kid is also your lifeline, just because obviously the person that's having the health struggle is going to be the one that's going through it much worse, but you don't know the toll that it takes on parents, especially thinking about the thought of maybe losing one of your children while you're alive has to be heartbreaking. So I feel like in those moments they're kind of like each other's lifeline and just holding on to what they have.
We hardly say I love you, 'cause your parents never did.
Ooh. Okay, so that's like some like generational trauma right there, because your parents never did. I also wonder if that's a connection back to, I think, LA. Not about his health scares or anything like that, but he mentioned something in that track saying, like, you know, I don't want my mom to see me cry. It's because maybe he knows that she is also a person that can't handle certain situations like that, or she's never really been good at emotions either. So for him to be calling her as a lifeline maybe means more than what you think.
Go, 'cause I won't waste another minute. This distance, we're drifting from difference of opinion. I can't be mad, I'm not what you planned for. I hope you know that no one else could ever save me.
Whoa, 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 what just happened? So let go, 'cause I won't waste another minute. The distance, we're drifting from difference of opinion. I can't be mad, I'm not what you planned for. I hope you know that no one else could save me. So I would assume that first line is about, like, I'll never waste another minute of the life. If I'm able to get through whatever I'm going through right now, I won't, you know, take a moment for granted again. And maybe he's talking also about their relationship with his parents, because contrary to what I thought at the beginning, maybe he had a strained relationship with this parent or this person, and them coming to their aid was a big moment in their relationship, because we're drifting from difference of opinion. Maybe they were once close and there was some sort of disagreement between the two. I can't be mad, I'm not what you planned for. Ooh, that feels really hurtful. It's like, if you're saying that to a parent, it's like, I'm sorry I was born. And I feel like that's a very hard thing to say. Like, you must really feel like you were unwanted in a life to think, like, I'm sorry that I was brought into this world. I don't know, maybe I'm making more out of that, but like that's rough. This is actually really sad.
I won't say goodbye just yet. So hold on to my hand, I'll be fine.
I don't mean to compare the situations at all, but this reminds me a little bit of Ronin, which was a very sad, like, kind of health related song.
With you by my side. Oh, don't you know you're my lifeline?
All right, so that was Lifeline. I love music that can move you, even if it's a situation that you can't necessarily relate to. That's how you know it's a good song. This was one that I probably wouldn't return to very much just because of the emotional aspect. I think it's a great track, but it's not something, like, so far every song on this EP I could play and, like, listen to either mellow or just because I really enjoy it. It's not a lack of enjoyment, it's just more like I don't think I could handle listening to this song on the regular, but that doesn't negate that it's a great track. I think as this EP is going on, it's getting better and better, to be honest. But now we're going to be moving into the last track, which is called All in Due Time. So let's see where we're kind of leaving off.
Just 'cause it gets better, it don't make it better right now.
Was going to say something, but it feels too ambiguous right now.
Maybe someday it'll all fade away and the weight of the world won't be mine.
Ooh, okay. Is it going to... Seems like it's very in your head and you're taking on way more than you mentally can handle.
And the scars are best stories I tell, all in due time.
I love that lyric. And the scars, and all these scars will be stories I tell. It's like, you know, when you're in the thick of it and you're in the worst moments of your life, you don't think about like how this will be a story one day, or how, you know, you will get through it and this will just be something you look back on. In the moment, things are like collapsing, things are the worst possible, and you don't see a way out. And I feel like maybe that's what he's saying, and he's just like, I'm gonna keep the affirmation that, you know, as time passes, time heals all wounds, and one day I'll look back on this and say, this wasn't maybe as bad as I thought it was, or even if it was, I made it through, and look at the person that I became because of the situation.
Just 'cause it's over, it don't mean I'm over it now. Third degree burns, yeah, it hurts while it's healing. I'm still trying to...
It's another really lyric I like. Third degree burn, yeah, it hurts while you're healing. It's still like, as you're in those moments, you're never going to be able to look at it with the perspective that you'll have later on.
And maybe I'll say at the end of the day who I am, made it over with the wall.
I think that's also nice just to know, like, you know, the person that you'll become is so much better because you went through. It's like, you know, I don't remember which Taylor Swift song says this. It says, you never bleed, you never gotta grow. And that's so true.
And these scars will be stories I tell, all in due time. All in due time.
I like that.
All in due time.
Alright, so that was the end of All in Due Time. That was the last track on this EP. And I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised of how much I'm enjoying his music. It's not that I never thought I would, but I never really had heard of his music, and I'm really enjoying both projects that I've listened to thus far. I would have to say, of the tracks, I think my favorite was probably Smoke Slow, then Used to It, then this one, All in Due Time, then probably Sad Songs in a Hotel Room, and then LA was probably my least favorite. But genuinely, there wasn't a track that I disliked. It's just more I would play more than other. Oh, I forgot Lifeline, which makes sense because I don't think I would want to rate that one because it was a great track, but I don't know how it would fall because it just doesn't have the replay value for me just because of the subject matter. But overall, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the tracks. Let me know if you like this project. Let me know if there's anything else from Joshua Bassett that you're interested in me listening to. Definitely opening to listening to more. Just gotta let me know what. But thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.